I am totally not biased. Okay,
Just a hint.
unlike Microsoft, which is totally biased. Baldur's Gate getting special treatment from Microsoft. Isn't that something?
I'm
Isn't
not
that
too
something?
surprised, in all honesty.
Oh, you're not? I'm not surprised.
Baldur's Gate
either.
3 has been
Yeah,
doing absolutely astounding. It's got a 97% positive rating that I've seen on Steam. I haven't looked at it recently, but it has had astounding reviews across the board. So I mean, like, I would be pushing that game too if it meant sales. But I think one of the big things I learned about it is that it's got no microtransactions. What you pay for in the game is what you got. You pay $60, that's it.
You know, it used to be how
It's
old school
fun.
things worked. It was you
Dude,
paid for
people
the game
love
and you're
it too.
done.
People absolutely love it
Well,
right now.
well,
It's
yeah.
crazy. Who would have thought? Gamers
Well, it's
get
not-
to be gamers again?
Well, it's not just that. It's the game's really good. It brings back old D&D vibes, so you get the member berries in there. And you know, it kind of plays like Baldur's Gate. I mean, it's just kind of what it is. It's fine. It's pretty good. I've watched it enough, but it plays exactly. And of course, you know, and you can have sex with lots of people. Shocking.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just an extra feature, obviously.
I'm curious. See, find this funny. It only proves that the Xbox Series S is GIMP, not today. Well, okay, we'll go into that. Yes, the Series S is definitely a downgrade compared to the X, but at the same time, a lot of people have it.
Well, the X is the newest console, and the S is what we got.
Yeah, but what's the difference between the two?
The X is the Series X, the mini fridge looking one, the Gen 5. Is it Gen 5? Am I spot on? Is it Gen 5? Hold on.
No, Xbox, I think it's Gen 4.
360. Then we have 1. Then we have S. Then we have... Hey, I'm right.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, continue.
Okay, no, we'll go with this. So Series S released.
So what's the difference between the S and the 1 then?
The Xbox One came out originally. The S is just a little more upgraded with the graphics, and it had a bigger storage in some of them, and it's a bit faster, not by much.
Okay, so they both come out. One is like the cheaper version, but you can still play Xbox games. So it's for the lower end crowd, so to speak. But the problem is that the Series X has better like memory and so on and so forth. It is what the Xbox should be, period.
Mm-hmm.
But they made the S
so that way they could just give to the poor.
Economic reasons.
Which they could have just, priced down. But
that's where it leads into, is that the virtual RAM in the Series S is a problem that many developers were having issues with when trying to develop for both. Which I don't exactly get that. Why are you going to have a lesser version of the Xbox and then expect developers to have the same features on both, which only makes the X worse because you're not taking full advantage of it?
Yeah.
Or they have to do a build in a different way to be able to take advantage of it. And then they have to basically build for two different Xboxes, which came out in the same series, at two different rates, which is usually putting more strain on the developers to even F with. If it's me, I'd be like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to go on Xbox.
It's
like, I'm sorry, I don't understand the thought processes. Yes, there's more Series S's out there, but at the same time, you're just like gimping yourself, and it's so. I just look at it and say it's just so annoying.
It's just because they don't want to lower the prices at all. And they know, like, if they don't release stuff back on the Xbox, S, then people would purchase the newer one, right? But if it's all expensive and stuff, who's gonna pay for that? Well, no,
it's about the same price as a PS5.
How many PS5s are out there? There's a bunch of people.
The GPU on the X is stronger. The S says only 10 gigs of RAM. That I don't freaking even get that. It's 2020. You only had 10 gigs of RAM. What the? Anyways. And the X has 16. I mean, I don't know why the S didn't have the 16 to come. Is it really that much of a price difference to add that 6 gigs on there? For RAM?
It's
not. RAM?
It's not.
In a wholesale fashion? Probably would have added like what? I'm gonna go crazy. $20, 25 maybe.
Ooh.
Ooh,
I'm going way out there. We're talking wholesale. It's not even close to that. But I'm just going to say at most. There's so many issues between the two, and Baldur's Gate is just one of the prime examples. So for Baldur's Gate 3, since they have not released on Xbox, and they couldn't because they have to go within certain parameters. Some of the parameters were like, okay, before we even get that far. So yesterday's PS5 release date announcement. So they released for the PS5 and the PC and the Mac. But they didn't have any exclusivity to the platforms, and they have had an Xbox version for a while. But the problem is that they've ran into technical issues in developing the Xbox port. And specifically, it was they were unable to get the split-screen co-op to work at the same standard on both Xbox Series X and Series S, which is a requirement for them to ship.
Okay.
That was problem number one.
Huh.
Now you'd be like, okay, just cut it. Well, you can't, because also in there, I don't know if it's in this. I don't see it. I don't see it here. It's probably another blog. That you can't have it on the PlayStation. You can't have split screen co-op on the PlayStation and then not have it on the Xbox. And at the same time, if I was an Xbox user, I'd be pissed because why is PlayStation getting it and not me?
That sounds like some Black Ops stuff.
Especially when my Series X can definitely handle it.
Yeah.
So now you have the players, and then you have Microsoft also saying no on both of those things. They're just in like such a terrible position.
All because they wanted it back onto the S.
Oh yeah,
the game
because
is too big to be put back on the S.
No, because when it comes to Microsoft, it has to work for both the Xboxes. It has to work for both of the Xboxes for them to put it on the Xbox. And there can't be difference in versions between them and other platforms. It's such a limitation.
This sounds like a spoiled child.
Well, okay, you can say that, but at the same time, I see where they're coming from. It's like there's a reason why I made the cheaper S and the X, but at the same time, it's like, look, you're cutting developers at the freaking knees at best. Like, why are you doing this? You've got to give some here. You made a cheaper freaking Xbox rather than the actual Xbox, and now it's the developers' problems to deal with that. Why? Because now I have to, like, it's not just on the Xbox. I have two different versions I have to effing deal with constantly.
Yeah.
What? I mean, hell, if I'm having to mess with that, I might as well just put it on the Switch. Like, why? Which has more consoles out than you. Like, if we're gonna get really down to brass tacks, right?
Right. Oh my God, they do by an astounding amount. Like double them?
This idea of having a cheaper Xbox for whatever reason, I know it's 2020. There's a lot of shit going on, and I think they did that just because of COVID and so on and so forth.
Price issues right now. All the extra
so
stuff.
Yeah, I get it probably during that time, but we're 3 years later. Stuff's happening. You need to let go of some of these restrictions. Why don't they have, like, can it not be upgraded?
Why couldn't they release it onto the Xbox X and then patch it for the series or for the S?
But no, they couldn't do that because it has to release at the same time on this both, and everything has to work exactly the same. That's the requirements.
So which one's the problem? The S or the X? Wait, the S or the regular?
S is too old, and they're trying to get stuff.
So why don't you throw away the S?
It's not too. No. The S and the X came out at the same time.
Not like, okay, which one is like, which one's
Wait,
one was just made for cheaper audiences.
Okay, so yeah. Okay.
Hold on.
Why not just really not involve the S in games that can't involve, like, kind of just throw away?
Because they don't want to do that. They want the Xbox to be one whole, but they want it to work on the cheaper version of it. That's the best way I can put it. This is Microsoft. This is what they've done. This is what they tied their hands to for some reason. But I think it's like, if this is because this isn't just a problem with Baldur's Gate 3. This is a problem with many developers that they're getting sick of.
I know. So I say just throw away the S.
So my question is there any way we can just upgrade S's to the X and then get rid of the S bullshit? There are many games that are still going to be able to come from both. Like Hi-Fi Rush is like one of those small picks that you ain't taking much and both can use it, yada yada yada. But why can't there? Is there no way we could take it in to say? I'll just use Best Buy for example, instead because there's not like Microsoft places everywhere. But we'll just say Best Buy that we could take it into a certain console fixer and be like, hey, $50 will upgrade your S to an X.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I feel, man, why is it so limited then? What is stopping people from doing that?
Yeah, yes, Microsoft will take a hit and they can stop sales of the S and only have X. So like whatever S is out there, that's it. So yes, you can get an S, get the upgrade probably for cheaper than an X.
But
so to
it's
speak,
not very long.
But you can definitely get more
but it's
revenue
not
off
very
the
long.
games.
And it's not very
And then
legal.
the upgrade
It's
would only last for so long. Like you have this much time to get it on the list, so on and so forth to get upgraded. Then you wean out the S, you only have the X now, and you move on from there. Yeah, you take a hit take a hit here, but you always take a hit with your consoles.
Yeah.
And plus,
Plus,
you're also a billion-dollar industry.
you're not
like,
really taking that much of a hit, especially with that information coming out. You really don't think people would splurge? And they're like, I can get an Xbox Series X cheaper, and or I can do it right now. $50, I can get a Series X, no problem, done. People would absolutely flock out of their houses to do that, and then people would buy some just that way. It's cheaper. It's legitimately paying $50 more right now for one that you would like. I'm looking at it. Series S is like roughly $250 to $300. Series X is $500. Well, $350 to $500. So it's already more, even if you do $50.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But but the whole point of this is just to get the S's basically off the market. Then you only have one. Like I said, you're taking a hit, but you're making people happy. Everyone's on the better version. You get rid of all the old stuff, and now you have everybody on the X, and you have one drive, one everything, and everybody is freaking just easy selling. Now all the developers are not so hampered. They're now wanting to actually be more forthright and actually putting shit on your console. And then you have the Game Pass. You just have so many. Then you have more things like going. It looks like it's going to pay for itself easily.
Oh yeah.
I feel like.
You also get the people's like admiration to you. Like you did something good for them. Thank you.
And you have a clean slate as well.
Yes, you have the Xbox, Series S, but then you have the Series X, where it's just like, well, this has a lot of more potential. Like, do I want to get the Series S or do I just want to get a Switch?
Honestly, get a Switch.
That's what the S stands for.
I would get a Steam Deck before, but continue. Go ahead.
But then at this point, it's like in the life cycle of, do I want to get a Series S, or do I just want to wait for the Switch 2 that's coming out next year? Like,
that's a hard question right there.
He's gonna play devil's advocate. What if I don't want the console that looks like a fridge and a disk drive? But what I'm saying is that why would it have to change? Because it wouldn't be that you're just getting that other console, like you take the S and you get the X. No, it'd be you have the S and you just update the parts and then boom, on your way.
It's like adding new parts to your computer, like a new RAM or something.
Again, I don't know if that's actually possible. I haven't looked at the internals or gone really crazy with consoles in forever. Oh. But I would think that certain things they'd be able to upgrade. Maybe not. And it would be that you just have to do the Series X. But at the same time, it's like when this stuff happens. So now the thing is that before we go too much farther, because we're going down a path that probably shouldn't have gone down. So for instance, as what's the absolute most common thing this Gamescom has been devs off the record absolutely slating the Series S. It's a great value little machine, but developers despise it, man. Yes. I've heard enough of that.
Despise.
So he goes, Xbox needs to think hard and fast about the policies around making sure stuff runs on both machines, whatever they are. And yeah, the alternative is Sony hoovering up many defective exclusives where given the choice between dealing with S or skipping Xbox entirely, more devs choose the latter. Yes, because they don't want to deal with this. And again, yeah, Microsoft doesn't have the greater market share. It doesn't exactly have the biggest position. They're getting better. They're getting a better position on this. But it's like at the same time, it's becoming too much of a pain. Now I'll put it here to the Xbox console family's generation. So this is what some of the guidelines they have to follow. So beginning on blah, 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 GameSpace must work properly when running compatibility mode on Xbox Series, blah, blah, blah. More to maintain consistency across console generations, games must support navigation via game input, ensure that saved games work across console types, ensure that online players are similar, blah, blah, blah. Ensure that identical game modes are offered across console types within the generation. Identical game modes are offered across console types within the generation.
That's the main catch-up then.
Yes.
That's...
And they have not been able to... So the split screen has been such a problem here.
God, that sucks.
So, what has happened? Super happy to confirm that after meeting with the Xbox yesterday, we found a solution that allows us to bring Baldur's Gate 3 to Xbox players this year still. Something we've been working towards for quite some time. All improvements will be there with split screen co-op on Series X. Series S will not feature split screen co-op, but will include the cross-save progression between Steam and Xbox, blah, blah, blah. So basically, after Microsoft sent their own people, their own programmers to Larian to help solve this issue, it finally came to the point that even with Microsoft help, they went, can't do it.
Screw this.
Even with help, they gave up.
They said, yo.
Well, at least they know they're wrong.
So this is a game that breaks the rules. So what's the next one? What's the next game? So is it what? Now, does it have to be highly successful on other platforms for Xbox to go, okay, I guess you don't have to do this for the S. Is that the only way? Is this the only way that this is going to work? Is this the only exceptions now? Because now if I'm a developer going, look, you did this for Baldur's Gate 3. You're not going to do it for us? Same thing.
Send your guys out here, man.
Oh no, this is a highly successful game on other platforms already. Okay, yeah, you can do it, so you can get it on ours.
It's already successful, Bob. So then they're gonna.
They even helped. They literally sent people from Microsoft to help them, and they still. This is what it came up with.
And just was like, you know what? We're just not gonna add it. It just won't be added.
Yes, until it's until it's only. Look, okay, let's just go back. Let's just say they can't do that. Let's just say, hey, we'll give you a deep discount now for an upgrade to Series X. So you trade in your Series S, and you can upgrade it for maybe a slight discount compared to just outright buying a Series X.
Right. So we'll still say $50.
$50
is a good point.
Like I would be thinking of ways to get the Series S off the market if this is becoming such a huge problem with developers, where developers are going, you know what, I'm not going to make it for the Xbox. I'm sorry, and I just tell people, look, talk to Microsoft. We can't do this. We're too small, indie game companies, because Larian isn't exactly it's not a big studio.
Oh no, it's really not. Like. AAA companies, after Baldur's Gate release and it did so astoundingly well, AAA companies told their fans, hey, dial down your expectations for our game. Oh, they got massive backlash for that. So much backlash. They're like, no. We should expect this from you, not that little company that just made Baldur's Gate. Okay? Where's this in Diablo 4? Huh?
It's It was just something else. I'm just like, wow, okay.
I guess the graphics from Baldur's Gate to Diablo 4 are pretty close, but it's still slightly, I can tell the difference. But that's only a game. That's the gamer in me.
You're so funny. Oh goodness, I don't know. I was just like going over that, going, man, what the? Okay. Now all of a sudden, the thing is that they hammered it so long before this, right?
So there's
and then all of a sudden, now that it's a big hit now, right?
Profit.
Now that it's a big hit, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, maybe we could bend the rules, seeing as how everything's effed up and we can't do it. Like, this is BS. That's my problem with it. It's like, this is just BS.
I think there could have been some games out there that could have gone to the Xbox Game Pass. just didn't because of the backwards compatibility.
This might be the start where they just throw it off the market then.
I don't think they'll throw it off. I think they'll just hold on
no,
to it
they-
and try and
they
avoid
might.
a situation like this.
They aren't going to avoid it if people aren't going to make games for them, and then they're going to talk about Boulder Gate like this. Yeah, no, they're going to either drop it or
That's why they're
gonna
probably going to be.
lose a lot
That's
of
why they're
money.
more than likely talking about it right now.
Or they're going to start allowing features to not have to be exactly identical across both of
So
them.
long as the gameplay doesn't
think that's
truly
the
get
best.
changed.
which that would make it way easier too. So I mean,
Well, but I mean, that's what they had to do with Halo Infinite. That was supposed to have it, and they just cut it out. Said no.
another big game.
Yep.
They're too big.
I think there's going to have to be more exceptions. I think once they learn there can be more exceptions.
I think
Like
they'll
for
probably
instance,
be a little bit more free.
it's split screen co-op. It's not like the end of the world.
No.
Most people's
won't-
going to play it single player only anyways. So if it's something more minor like that, why are we having such a face off on something that is very minor? When you
Oh, yeah,
could have had this out, you could have already probably had this out on Xbox if this wasn't a problem. Actually, they probably would have all came out at the same time if you did not have this freaking hardballed line
So they lost
on
a
something that's
massive
actually
profit.
pretty minor.
Lost a massive profit off a minor problem.
Yeah, it's going to seem like it. Because, I mean, either people got it for PC or PlayStation for the most part.
Mhm.
The only ones would be the diehard Xbox consoles that don't own either.
Yeah.
Or I should say
Right.
don't own a PC.
So like when you get a PC, right, and there's a game, but you don't have the proper requirements to play the game, what do? You upgrade the computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, what makes them think like throw away the Xbox S and then just everybody would just upgrade to the X if they really want to play the game, and just leave everything else like they did the 360. That's on the Xbox.
I
S.
think the only problem I have is that they haven't released that they released them at the same time, and they're trying to have two in this generation. But I think at this point, we're 3 years into it. I think that we need to go, okay, look, there's going to be some things that just doesn't work on the S, and just move on.
Yeah.
And if people can't understand that, then I'm sorry. Just look to the next generation. Like, just
wait.
you have too many other things. You have Game Pass going for you. You got a good bunch of studios going on. There's going to be more things going to it. You're going to have a nice, profitable selling position or a nice USP to go after or go on. Man, I cannot speak. So just work on that for the next generation. Just like stop trying to be so hard-headed when you're third in the console races. Like, come on.
That's almost last.
Of 3. It's
Yeah.
4. Of 4.
4.
4. PC, Switch, Xbox, and
PC is a different platform. That's not console.
It can do both, Kobe.
That's like, did Sega come out with one that I didn't? Commodore 64 coming back? I mean, yeah, but it might be that they want to go for 5 years, but it's not that they won't stop supporting it. I just think that they have to let some features go. Like, it will not both be compatible. It's just, if they do that, a lot of issues get ironed out. It's what can you do?
It's just gonna be rough. That's about it.